Hello and welcome to another episode of Thread Talks. And today I've got a dream sister team from my favourite jewellery brand, Otiumberg. They created their brand in 2016 and it's one of my favourites because it's so simple, it's elegant and it's timeless. And I think timeless is important because it's all sustainably produced. And they are on the sofa with me today to talk about obviously brows and beauty, but also entrepreneurship and jewellery. Welcome, Rosanna and Christie.
Thank you for having us.
It's so nice to have you, and I think it's really interesting. I want to find out how it is working with your sister, because I think you're neighbours as well, or have I got that wrong? You are neighbours.
It's a bit mad, isn't it? Yeah.
But I think that's lovely. So, you know, what are the... Tell me about the pros first.
So we often say, actually, it's our kind of hidden weapon in a sense, because we grew up in London together. Yeah. We had kind of the same, visual references growing up. So we have this shared aesthetic, which I think only comes with that. Our mother's jewellery, popping around London, our friends, etc. So we sort of are really aligned. So Christie very much handles all of the product design. I'm on kind of all of the branding. And often we don't have to communicate properly.
We never have to approve each other's work. Ever.
Yeah, you just get it, don't you?
It's
just kind of get it.
I've got sisters as well, and we just know. We look at something and you just
and you sort of know each other's strengths and weaknesses, so we can really play to that in a way that isn't aggressive or confrontational. It's just sort of is. So that's sort of, I guess, our hidden weapon.
Yeah.
The cons.
The cons. No cons. Well, there's no cons. I think that the con is that obviously it's. We're sisters as well, so we have to make sure that we compartmentalize a little bit as much as possible when we're not at work, because it's very easy to let that conversation slide into like your personal time and things like that. And then being neighbours as well, it can very easily come and flow into the weekend and things like that. So we're quite now, after like 6 years, we're quite strict about that. So we kind of cut communication off at like 7 p.m. at night and things like that when it comes to work.
Yeah, I think you have to actually. Yeah. It's like when I talk to people at work with their partners, I think that's also really hard. It's that 7 o'clock.
Totally.
Well, we're having a glass of wine. Let's try not to talk about it, but very hard.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Because the entrepreneurs were obsessed, I feel.
Yeah. I think now we have a team in place. At the beginning, obviously, that was not the case at all. It was sort of all hands on deck. But, and also we make time for each other. So we have like a ritual of on a Monday having a coffee before we even go into work together so that we can talk about the weekend.
Yeah.
How's life going?
It's also things like, if we do want to talk, like our brains never stop thinking about it. So we try and put it on Slack. So we know that the person, if they want to access work conversations, put it on Slack rather than WhatsApp.
Yeah.
There's been many years where it's just been continuous flow, but I think that's really helpful.
That's a good tip, actually.
Mm.
And, for women wanting to go and become entrepreneurs, and you've done it quite recently, what would you say to them?
So I think what we did is, obviously you need to make sure there is an opportunity for your business. And what I did personally was split my time. So I was at Burberry for quite a few years, and I kind of worked at night on Otiumberg, and then Rosanna joined me, but also working in branding as well. We never quit our day jobs. And then eventually I went down to 3 days with Burberry. So I negotiated that and then did 2 days Otiumberg. And so gradually built it, understanding the market. And then by the time I left Burberry, when I was actually pregnant with my first kid, we knew that there was an opportunity. So going slowly and steadily and really understanding your customer, and then go for it.
Yeah.
And you felt ready to make the leap because you almost prepared before you took that risk.
Yeah, exactly.
So because it can be quite scary, but no regrets looking back.
No regrets.
No, not at all. And actually, I think what's lovely about growing organically and kind of not slowly, but like responsibly, I guess, is that you're able to make mistakes in that early stage. That I think if you were under this pressure of having millions of investment or whatever it might be, I think, you're just able to really finesse what you're doing earlier on, so that when you actually, they all say overnight success is 10 years. So I think there's a reason for that, right? It's because suddenly it all comes into place after years of sort of working at it and finessing it. So I think that's probably the best piece of advice we could give.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. I wholeheartedly agree with it.
Yeah.
So, and you're a mother of 3. We were just talking about how how you balance work life. So what's your kind of downtime? Or do you not have any
downtime? I'm quite an energetic person, kind of mentally and physically as well. But I think my downtime is very much, it's the simple things I've realised. Like I'm not going to be able to kind of take myself off for too long. So it might be going out for a coffee by myself before work, or having a bath, and small things like that.
Small things.
And the way I kind of work my day, small pleasures, and the way I kind of view my day is I a few years ago I was like, this is the best way to do it, and I view my day in chapters. So if I've had a really shocking morning, like a kid's been sick on me and this and that and that, and then I get to the office door and I'm like, right, that's chapter 1. And then I go to chapter 2 because no one in the office, quite frankly, wants to really be that involved in my my routine in the morning. So I manage it like that, and I view my day in chapters. Then when I get back to my house, it's like the next chapter, and I can go into being a mum again.
She's great. She never brings it into the office.
No.
But I think that's another thing about being sisters. I can sort of tell if she's had a bad morning, or
quite often.
So there's like a
And how about you? What's your...
I mean, no kids yet.
Yeah, but still, I mean, just being an entrepreneur is enough.
Yes. She's also picked up a lot when I've obviously had 3 kids, and I've worked through that, a lot of it. But also work-wise, like there's been times where I haven't been able to come in because one of my kids is sick. There's a lot of
I guess that's why having a co-founder is so nice, and the age gap between us is great because it works out that we're kind of going through those stages in our life at different times of the business. It's been good. It's funny, like when I was living in New York working in branding and doing Otiumberg on the side, so we were both sort of working it. Made the decision to move home, and the day I was moving home, all our jewellery stock got stolen from the London flat that Christie was working at. So I get this call saying, I've made this like life-changing decision. Suddenly all the jewellery's gone. So I think like what that story just shows is like the absolute highs and lows that you go through. And I think it's just been, what's really nice, I feel like my resistance to stress has grown, and I'm able to get such more perspective on that. And even it kind of flows into your kind of everyday life as well. You sort of had quite a lot of obstacles to overcome, and it just makes you into a much sort of, I guess, wiser person. You sort of realise that it's not the end of the world, and like, actually, how can we fix it? And so, it's just...
You've also learned how to meditate.
Yes.
There's a few things.
Well done, because I'm still working on that, because my mind is always...
Well, I just use Headspace, but honestly, it's a game changer. It's just... even just like 5 minutes in the morning, it really does do wonders.
I think it is the way forward to just take time out, but you just have to learn how to stop your mind racing. I know. Which is hard, but I think you're absolutely right. Don't sweat the stuff that's not worth sweating, because every day something is thrown at you that's going to be difficult. So it's almost like you have to be resilient, but it comes with time, and you become a bit harder and a bit cooler as time goes on. 18 years later, I can say that I can sleep at night and not worry as much as I used to. Moving on to jewellery, because your jewellery is absolutely gorgeous. I just love the box, people that can see.
Our new packaging.
I think it's really lovely because it feels really premium and special. It's also accessible in terms of price, which I think is good. And you did start with sort of huggies and hoops, and then it just expanded in this curated edit of almost everything. So what do you think, what would be the 3 staples that you said everyone should have in terms of jewellery?
I mean, it's so personal, so I think everyone's different, but what is so lovely is that we have sort of teenagers up to your sort of like grannies buying the brand, and I love that. We've always wanted to be so accessible. We recently shot a woman in her early 60s. She's incredible. She's the coolest woman I've ever met. Anyway, so I would say it's a very personal decision. It's not kind of one size fits all, but in terms of the categories, you've got to have your gold hoops to go for. The ones that, you wear with a bikini, and then you also wear them with a roll neck in winter. Probably a chain of some sort that you put on with a shirt. Just these simple pieces that become your second skin. So I think Christie spends a lot of her time refining design down. So like taking details
and
out.
Always stripping away, which is actually really challenging because we don't really follow trends. We're constantly trying to create this piece, to your point earlier, that is kind of trend, like your second skin, and that in 5-10 years time you still love as much as you did on that day that you bought it. So it's constantly evolving, and I think we are the customers as well. So we always wear the pieces for months, and if we still like it by the end of it, we sell it, and if we don't, it doesn't get sold. So it really is such a personal collection, and it's evolved, to your point, from the huggies. Then we've gone into bigger hoops. We do a lot of personalization. Since my children, we do these lovely name bracelets, and it's a huge business for us now. But it's as we've got older, we've evolved, and we're going to looking at engagement next year and things like that. So it's just as our journeys progress, so is the brands.
Well, it's lovely because I think second skin is perfect way to describe it, because I hate changing my jewellery all the time, and so I've been wearing your earrings. I bought some other earrings that I love, and I've been wearing them all the time, and it's just easy.
Yeah.
And I'll change it if I'm going out in the evening sometimes,
Yeah.
but I think that's important.
Yeah, it makes you feel good, doesn't it? Even if you're just sort of still in your shirt from work, if you put on some gold hoops, then you instantly kind of
Jazzed up.
You're meant to kind of feel naked without. Like I sleep in these big guys. Like I feel quite strange if I don't have my jewellery on now. It's definitely like an extension of your personality.
So yeah, we've got a lot of cuffs at the moment, which is great for people that don't have ear piercings. I know a lot of people shy away from this ear stacking trend, kind of terrified about it, but actually lots of ear cuffs like what Christie's got on now,
I love those,
which is really fun for people.
I encourage that my daughter who's 15 and wants to get several piercings, and I'm just like, just get some cuffs.
Send her our way, and
And in terms of beauty makeup, which we need to get onto that. What is because you seem to be very pared down, elegant. Does your makeup reflect that?
Do you know what? We've never really worn that much makeup. We've always been sort of about our skin first. So we love, kind of our Barbara Strum drops and things like that. But actually, it's really for us just about wearing a lick of mascara.
Good skincare, really.
Yeah, making your skin feel a bit
kind
chewy.
of like brows, eyelashes, skin. And
Yeah.
that's it. We don't really suit makeup.
No.
A whole load of makeup on our face. It kind of doesn't really feel us. And we have kind of like biggish hair. So it's kind of like very natural, very natural looking.
Yeah.
And you mentioned brows, so tell me, what do you do in terms of brow care?
Yeah.
Also, we were in that generation that overplucked our eyebrows when we were younger.
It was cool to do that back in the day.
Cool.
This is a reoccurring theme, let me tell you, on the brow sofa.
Yeah, I'm constantly trying to grow them out. Well, I am anyway. I'm constantly like growing them out.
Yeah.
And then addressing
We blame Kate Moss.
situation.
I do, and sort of Ms. Magazine and all that. But we are desperately trying. We weren't blessed with huge eyebrows, so we're constantly kind of colouring in,
Filling
and
in the
shaping,
gaps,
and coming to Blink Brow, quite frankly, to get it done. But something feels natural,
Just a bit of colour.
Exactly.
Yes.
Shaping.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Does the trick.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to ask you some quick fire questions.
Yeah.
So tell me, Christie, are you Selfridges or a Liberty woman?
Liberty.
Rosanna, Columbia Road or Portobello Road?
Columbia Road.
I think you might have answered this, but skincare or makeup?
Skincare.
Or wing dye or red lip?
Wing dye.
Fact or fiction with reading?
Ooh, fiction.
An Americano or a turmeric latte?
Ooh, Americano. Yeah.
Hardcore. Well, thank you so much. It's been fascinating having you on the sofa talking about how you set up your jewellery brand. Done amazingly well.
Thank
I think
you.
everyone should go out and try some of your beautiful pieces. And before you go, it'd be really good to share with all the listeners, where can they find your jewellery?
So we actually have a lovely by appointment only boutique in London Bridge, which you can book on our website. And you can kind of browse, try on and shop the full collection. So all your ring sizes, everything that you see online.
Oh, how nice. It's actually so much nicer to go in person and try jewellery on. And it's a really fun experience.
Also, if you can't do it, we have an amazing girl, Tessa, who's head of customer service, and she can have a Zoom appointment as well. So, many ways.
Thank you for coming.
Such
Thank
a pleasure.
you so much for
Thank you.
having us.